Coming up, the new administration reversing a major policy at the border, the changes being made, and what it means for asylum seekers. Pharmacies in San Diego now accepting appointments for vaccinations, how it works, and the locations you can go to. And the latest super site in San Diego that will help broaden access to the vaccine. ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
And we do welcome you this midday. Great to have you with us. I'm Jim Patton, and I'm joined remotely by my co-anchor Virginia Cha, 10 News meteorologist Megan Perry, and Vanessa Paz joining us today with a look at the roads with that wet and blustery weather we're having out there. We're going to be with all of you very shortly. This morning on Capitol Hill, former President Trump's legal team opening up their defense in the Senate impeachment trial. Those attorneys taking center stage today on the heels of reports that Trump was frustrated with their opening performance. ABC's Faith Abube has more.
Donald Trump's legal team today kicking off their defense of the former president after House impeachment managers spent 2 days laying out an emotional and what bipartisan observers say was an effective case against Donald Trump for inciting the January 6th insurrection.
He struck a match, and he aimed it straight at this building.
The Democrats concluding their arguments linking Trump's words to the action of the mob that stormed the Capitol. Arguing the former president showed no remorse even after the deadly riot and should be convicted, or the nation risks a similar domestic attack from a future president.
What unfathomable horrors await us if we do not stand up now and say, no, this is not America.
Let us show the world that January 6th was not America. And let us remind the world that we are truly their North Star.
But ahead of their defense presentation, the former president's lawyers arguing the Democrats' case is lacking.
The evidence they have, under no circumstances, would make out a case for incitement.
The defense expected to paint Trump's words just before the mob attack as merely political speech protected under the First Amendment. The Democrats issuing a preemptive strike.
There's nothing in the First Amendment or anywhere else in the Constitution that can excuse your betrayal of your oath of office.
Sources tell ABC News there's growing tension and infighting within the Trump legal team. Trump himself said to be furious with lead counsel Bruce Castor after a widely criticized performance on Tuesday. The legal team also meeting with 3 GOP senators to talk strategy to ensure most Republicans are united in acquitting Trump.
He should not be convicted, I'll tell you that.
And the Trump team is also expected to argue that an impeachment trial to convict a former president is unconstitutional. But of course, that question was decided before this trial even began. The defense team planning to keep their case short, using 3 to 4 hours. On Capitol Hill, Faith Abube, ABC News.
And a quick reminder, you can stick with us here for local news, but you can also follow the impeachment proceedings live on ABC 10 on your TV.
Well, the Biden administration has released plans to allow tens of thousands of asylum seekers who've been held in Mexico into the U.S. ABC 10 News reporter Marie Cornell spoke to a legal expert about what impact this could have.
As early as next week, tens of thousands of asylum seekers will be brought to a U.S. port of entry, where they will be released and monitored after passing a COVID-19 test in Mexico. This is part of President Biden's efforts to help those who were forced to wait in Mexico under the migrant protection protocols, which were created under the Trump administration, in part to address claims that migrants often didn't show up for immigration court hearings.
But policymakers didn't do a good job at following up on that and finding a way for people to get status or to be able to return to their home communities or helping to rebuild their home communities. And we've just stacked on top of that policy after policy after policy.
Once the program is up and running, officials estimate about 3,000 people a day could be processed at each port of entry. ABC 10 News spoke with Ev Mead, a professor at USD, who says it's important to remember there will be a rigorous process asylum seekers will have to go through.
They have to meet a really high standard to get asylum here. Nobody's talking about giving everybody asylum or denying everybody asylum. This is about giving people a fair chance to make their case.
The White House has said they are still working on making sure all the ports are equipped to start this process. Marie Cornell, ABC 10 News.
Pharmacy chains around the country are now working to help fight the spread of COVID-19. Starting today, local CVS stores are administering the vaccine. ABC 10 News reporter Natay Holmes is in Santee at one of the stores offering those shots.
Nearly 82,000 doses have been sent to pharmacies across the U.S. by the federal government. According to the CVS website, there are 7 locations in San Diego County administering these shots. As of this morning, all appointments were booked. Now, the shots are being administered inside of the storefront. The list of San Diego locations includes Santee, San Diego, San Marcos, Carlsbad, Rancho Bernardo, Poway, and Chula Vista. Vaccines are available through appointment only, and you can register online through the pharmacy's website. CVS was planning to administer the shots Thursday, but decided to hold off until today to be sure they had enough doses. You must be eligible to receive the vaccine under the state's current vaccine rollout plan. That means healthcare workers and people ages 65 and older. The CDC says in California, both CVS Pharmacy and Rite Aid will take part in the program. Rite Aid asked those who are eligible to register through the state's website, covid19.ca.gov. In Santee, Natay Holmes, ABC 10 News.
Well, today we are getting our first look at the new Del Mar vaccination site in action. The fairgrounds, which has been serving as a testing site, is now welcoming drive-through and walk-up vaccine appointments. And this is the result of a partnership between the county and Scripps Healthcare. This is San Diego's 5th super site. People say it's helping broaden access to the vaccine.
Able to have a location that's in North County, and hopefully the lines won't be as long. I think, you know, everyone with their parents, or whether or not it's for their parents or themselves, would be happy to have that.
The goal is for the Del Mar site to ramp up to the point that they could administer 10,000 doses a day. And again, eligible people do need to schedule an appointment.
Now, this morning we are waiting on the CDC's latest guidelines on in-person learning, those expected to be released at some point today. One of the questions, whether those guidelines will advise vaccinating teachers before return to the classroom. The county officials say they're focused on vaccinating seniors right now, but that they are working out the logistics for when they will move to the next phase. In the coming weeks, teachers and others could become eligible. The county says at the start, they are leaning toward putting local districts in charge of setting their highest priority for staffers on who gets vaccinated first. President Biden announced that contracts with Pfizer and Moderna have been secured for a total of 600 million doses by the end of July. And that means 300 million Americans could get fully vaccinated against COVID-19, in addition to the millions that already have been. 330 million people live in the U.S., according to the Census Bureau, and the country's vaccine supply could grow even more once the FDA approves a serum from Johnson & Johnson, which could happen at the end of this month. Well, a lot of questions about the vaccines and the rollout process, and we are committed to getting you the answers. And if you have questions or want to share your experience, send us an email, tips@10news.com.
And in Washington, that nearly $2 trillion stimulus bill is one step closer to becoming a reality. A Democratic-led House committee approving parts of that package that include billions in state and local aid and $1,400 stimulus checks. Now, the portions this committee approved also include a boost to federal unemployment benefits. And while that bill is on track to pass in the House, particulars are still being debated by members of both parties in the Senate.